You don't suffer from a lack of ideas. You suffer from never finishing any of them. Your digital life is full of ghosts, half-watched online courses, day 3 of another 90-day transformation challenge, a Notion full of color-coded systems you used for a week, gym membership abandoned after the perfect first Monday, language app streaks that died on day 12, new project, new notebook, new logo, and then nothing. And you start to wonder, maybe I'm just lazy, maybe I'm broken, maybe I'm not meant to finish anything. But you're not lazy. You're not broken. Your brain is simply addicted to the dopamine of beginning, not the discipline of completing. There is an old Japanese idea that speaks directly to this. It's called Kanryō no Michi, the path of completion. It comes from the world of artisans and samurai, from people who didn't get rewarded for starting, only for what was finished, the sword that was forged, the table that could hold a family's meals for 30 years, the calligraphy scroll that actually dried and hung on the wall. And when you understand Kanryō no Michi and its 4 pillars, you'll finally see why you abandon everything halfway and how to become the kind of person who finishes. Before we dive in, if you're part of this community of people who want more discipline, more presence, and more self-respect, thank you. If you're new here and this already hits a nerve, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It helps this message reach more people. And I want you to answer this in the comments. What is one project you abandoned that still haunts you? Write it down. Name the ghost. Back to the video. Chapter 1. The Graveyard of Projects, Austin, Texas. A small apartment. 3 a.m. blue light from a laptop screen. Daniel, 27 years old, is sitting at his desk, surrounded by evidence of potential. 3 notebooks open, a whiteboard with arrows pointing everywhere. On his screen, a folder called Big Projects. He clicks. Inside, course, action idea, final V3. YouTube launch plan reel this time. Book manuscript, new final, 27 versions with the word final in them. None of them finished. He opens Notion, pages and pages of ideas, podcast concept, short-form series idea, Notion template store, productized service, new workout split, all beautifully organized, all abandoned somewhere between day 3 and week 2. On his phone, language apps with dead streaks, fitness apps with 4 logged workouts, business apps with free trial expires in 2 days. He scrolls through messages. A friend, Evan, had texted earlier. Bro, I finally launched the channel. First video did 3K views. Evan. The guy who always said, I don't have many ideas, but I'll just start with one. The guy Daniel secretly thought was less creative. Now Evan has an actual YouTube channel. Real videos, real comments. Daniel has plans. Later that morning, he's at a coffee shop, trying to start fresh again. New doc, new project, new illusion. He reaches into his backpack to find a pen and pulls out an old folded paper. Yellowed, soft at the edges. It's a list. His handwriting from when he was 15. Things I want to create before I'm 30. Write a book, make a YouTube channel, build something that helps people learn Japanese, get in the best shape of my life. He's 27 now. Not one of those is finished. His chest tightens, his face flushes, even though no one's looking. Inside, a single sentence appears. I am the king of almost. He remembers his friends joking about it last week. Daniel's starting another thing? Oh man, I can't wait for the 3-week hype arc. You're the king of almost, bro. You do the best first week I've ever seen. People laugh. Daniel laughs with them. But alone in that coffee shop, his laugh is gone. He realizes something. His life is a graveyard of projects. In every grave, the same epitaph. Started with excitement, died when it got boring. He closes his laptop. For the first time, he's not thinking about starting something new. He's thinking, if I keep living like this, I'll die with nothing finished. Chapter 2. The Craftsman of One Path. A few days later, Daniel's walking through an older part of Austin he rarely visits. He's restless, too fried for another productivity video, too ashamed to start another new plan. He turns a corner and sees a tiny workshop squeezed between a bar and a vintage clothing shop. A small wooden sign hangs above the door. Hayashi Woodworks. The window is dusty, but inside he can see chairs. The same chair, over and over again. Simple, clean lines, each one slightly different. A curve here, a variation in the grain there, a different warmth in the finish. His curiosity wins. He goes inside. The air smells like sawdust, oil, and time. Behind a wooden table stands an elderly man with silver hair tied back, wearing a faded apron. His hands are knotty, strong, and gentle at the same time. This is Mr. Hayashi. He looks up, nods once. Welcome. Daniel walks along the rows of chairs and small tables. They all look the same, he blurts out, then immediately feels rude. Hayashi chuckles softly. To you, maybe, he says. To me, everyone is different, and everyone is complete. Daniel looks closer. Tiny differences in the joints, the way the light reflects off the finish, imperfections that somehow make each piece feel more alive. Did you design all of these? Daniel asks. Hayashi nods. 42 years, same style, same form, small improvements. He points to a chair in the corner. That one is from my first year here. Sit. Daniel sits. The chair is solid, but not as comfortable, a little stiff. The edges bite slightly into his legs. Then he sits in a newer one. Same design, but different. The angle is gentler. The balance is perfect. It disappears under him. Wow, Daniel says. How did you get from that to this? Kanryō no Michi, Hayashi answers. Daniel frowns. What's that? The way of completing. He studies Daniel's face. You look like a man who starts many things and finishes few. The words hit harder than they should. How did you know? Hayashi shrugs. Your eyes move too quickly, from this to that. People who finish things, their eyes stay. Daniel laughs nervously, but then something in him cracks. He tells Hayashi about the Notion files, the projects, the courses, the stunning first weeks, the graveyard of almost. Hayashi listens without interrupting. When Daniel finishes, the old craftsman asks him 2 questions. How many things did you start this year? Daniel thinks. A lot. Maybe 12 big things? Hayashi nods. And how many did you finish? Silence. None, Daniel admits. Hayashi picks up a small block of wood and a chisel. In my tradition, he says, we say, your life can become a forest of cut-down trees and no finished houses. Plenty of effort, plenty of activity, but nowhere to live. He chips off a small curl of wood. A sword half forged is just metal. A bridge half built is just a dead end. A book half written helps no one. Daniel looks down. But my brain, he starts. I get so excited at the beginning. I love planning. I love new ideas. And then I just fall off. Hayashi nods again. Yes, this is not because you are weak. It is because you have trained your mind to crave novelty, not completion. He gestures at the chairs around them. When I was young, I also wanted to make many things. Different styles, different designs. My teacher stopped me. He said, one form, many repetitions. Finish each one. I hated it. It was boring. My friends were experimenting, trying everything. But after 10 years, they had nothing. I had a path. He sets down the chisel and looks directly at Daniel. Kanryō no Michi is simple. Greatness lives in finished things, not imagined ones. You must train your brain to love the feeling of completed. Daniel frowns. How do I do that? It feels like my brain is wired the other way. Hayashi smiles. That is the good news. Brains can be rewired. The science beneath the tradition. Let's step away from the workshop for a moment and talk about what's actually happening inside your head. When you start something new, a new project, a new gym routine, a new notion system, your brain releases dopamine. Not because you've done something great, but because you might. This is the novelty hit, the promise of a new identity. That's it. This time, I'm going to become that person. You get a rush. You feel alive. But finishing something? That doesn't usually come with fireworks. It comes with repetition, boredom, resistance. It comes when the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term plans and self-control, wins over your craving for immediate reward. If you constantly jump to new projects, here's what you've trained. Your brain associates starting with excitement and reward. It associates continuing with boredom and discomfort. It never gets to experience the deeper, quieter satisfaction of completion. The basal ganglia, the part that runs your habits on autopilot, learns from repetition. If all you repeat is start, abandon, start something else, that becomes your loop. On top of that, every unfinished project costs you decision energy. Your brain keeps asking, should I work on this or that? Should I restart that course? Maybe I should pivot again? That's decision fatigue. You get so tired choosing that you never actually move. Old artisans and samurai didn't have to read neuroscience to understand this. They just saw the results. The one who finishes the kata, the one who finishes the sword, the one who finishes the chair, becomes unrecognizable over time. The ones who bounce, they stay the same. Back to Daniel in the workshop. Chapter 3. The discipline of completion. Kanryō no Michi has 4 pillars, Hayashi says, wiping dust off his hands. 4? Daniel asks. Hayashi nods. If you follow them, you will no longer be the king of almost. You will be the man who finishes. He walks to a shelf, pulls out a small wooden board, and writes 4 characters. Ishin, Ishin shigenri, Jikan Rei wanla, Kata Kanryō, ta chie, fumikiri. These are the 4 pillars of the path of completion, he says. Today, we start with the first. Pillar 1. Ishin, the single intention. Ishin, he writes again, more slowly. 1 heart, 1 intention. He looks at Daniel. You must choose 1 path instead of 10. For a season, not forever. 90 days is good. Daniel shifts uncomfortably. But I have so many ideas. Good, says Hayashi. Write them down. Honor them. Then put them to sleep. To sleep? Yes. You do not kill them. You just stop pretending you are walking them all at once. He hands Daniel a small notebook. Write 1 project on this first page, the one that matters most now. Not the sexiest, the most important. Daniel hesitates, but something in him knows the answer. He writes, launch my YouTube channel with 1 finished published 5-video series. He's been dancing around this for years. Hayashi nods. For 90 days, this is your main path. Others are background noise. No new leads, no new projects. You may have a job, responsibilities, but in your creative life, 1 path. He taps the word Ishin. Many paths, no destination, he says. 1 path, maybe a destiny. Pillar 2, Jikan Rei, sacred time. The next day, Daniel returns to the workshop. Hayashi points at the clock on the wall. Now we make time sacred, he says. Sacred, Daniel repeats. Jikan Rei, Hayashi explains. Ritual of time. In temples, prayer times do not move for convenience. In a dojo, training time is fixed. You must choose a block of time each day that belongs only to your chosen path, Daniel thinks. Mornings are chaotic. Nights, he scrolls. He decides 6:30 to 8 a.m. before work, every day. Hayashi raises an eyebrow. Every day? Daniel swallows. Every day. No phone, Hayashi adds. No notifications, no multitasking, same place and same time. You sit, you face the work, even if you only produce one good sentence. Time is not a suggestion. It is your ceremony. This is where neuroscience and ritual meet. A fixed time reduces decision fatigue. You're not asking, when should I work? The answer is pre-decided. A repeated context, same place, same time, same trigger, strengthens the habit loop in the basal ganglia. Over time, this slot becomes automatic. At 6:30, I work on the project. By making that time sacred, you are telling your nervous system, this matters. This is identity level. For the next weeks, Daniel sticks to it. 6:30 a.m., alarm. He wants to snooze, but he remembers the graveyard, remembers the old man's eyes. He gets up, makes coffee, puts his phone in another room, opens his laptop, only his project document. No tabs. He hates the first 15 minutes. His brain screams for novelty. Check your email. Search for better gear. Maybe watch one tutorial first. But he stays. Slowly, the noise quiets down, a little more each day. Pillar 3, Kata Kanryō, the completed Form 1. Saturday, he goes back to Hayashi, frustrated. I'm showing up, he says. I've got the time block, but it feels like I'm just moving fog. The project is too big. I don't know what counts as progress. Hayashi nods, as if he's heard this 1,000 times. Your work is like a large piece of lumber, he says. You keep sanding the whole thing, so nothing feels finished. He takes a plank and draws lines across it. Kata Kanryō, he says. Completed form. You must break your work into small units that can be finished in one session or a few sessions. He turns to Daniel. For your videos, he says. What is one unit you can finish in a day? Daniel thinks. A full outline for one episode, he suggests. Good. And another. A complete script for one video section. Good. And another. A rough cut of a single video, or a fully edited intro. Hayashi smiles. Every session must have a finished form, not work on project. That is fog. Instead, finish one outline, finish one page, finish editing one segment. Your brain must taste done every day, not once a month. This is how you retrain your reward system. Instead of chasing the abstract fantasy of a completed project months away, you create micro-completions. Each done for today delivers a small, satisfying hit of dopamine associated with finishing, not starting, over time. This shifts your craving from the rush of beginning to the quiet high of completion. Daniel rewrites his plan. No more work on YouTube stuff in his planner. Now it says things like, finish outline for episode 1, complete intro script for episode 2, edit A-roll of episode 1, record voiceover for segment 3. At the end of each session, he highlights the task in green, a small ritual. His brain starts to notice, this feels good, not starting, finishing. Chapter 4. The relapse change is never a straight line. 2 months into his 90-day focus, Daniel has done more consistent work than in the last 2 years. 4 full outlines, Scripts for 3 episodes, 2 episodes fully recorded, one almost edited. He's not done yet. But for the first time, the finish line is visible. Then, one evening, he gets a message from an acquaintance. "Hey man, I'm putting together a new AI-based content tool. We're looking for creative people to be co-founders. Massive potential, super early. Let's jump on a call." His heart races. A new idea. A big opportunity. He imagines himself on a podcast, talking about the startup. The old rush floods his system. The next morning, 6:30 a.m., he sits at his desk, and instead of opening his video script, he opens a new doc. AI tool brainstorm. He tells himself, "I'll just explore this for a week. The YouTube thing can wait. This is bigger." He spends his sacred time researching, sketching logos, mapping out business models. Day 2, same. Day 3, he skips his YouTube file altogether. His chest feels weirdly tight. A small, quiet shame creeps back in. That weekend, he walks into the woodworking shop again. Hayashi looks at him and simply asks, "How many work blocks did you give your path this week?" Daniel swallows. 2, maybe 3. "And what did you work on?" Hayashi asks. Daniel hesitates. "A new startup idea. It's exciting. Feels like a big opportunity." Hayashi nods slowly. Of course, beginning is always exciting. It lets you imagine being great without paying the price. He walks over to a shelf and pulls out a dusty box. Inside, there are strange pieces of wood, half-carved legs, incomplete backs of chairs, unfinished table legs. "What is this?" Daniel asks. "My graveyard," Hayashi replies. "When I was younger, I also ran to every new idea. This style, that style, a new kind of chair, a new table. I told myself I was experimenting, being creative. My teacher opened this box and said, 'Each of these is proof that you love the idea of being a master more than the work of becoming one.'" He looks directly at Daniel. "You are at a dangerous point. You have walked far enough that quitting will hurt. So your mind seeks escape, a new project, new identity." He puts the box down. This is when you need the fourth pillar. Pillar 4. Fumikiri, the point of no return. He writes the last phrase on the board. Ta chie. Fumikiri. In Japanese, he explains, this word is used for a railroad crossing, a place where once you cross, you cannot stay in the middle. You must commit to one side. For your path, he says, Fumikiri means creating commitments that make quitting more painful than finishing. Daniel frowns. Like what? Public promise, Hayashi says. Deadlines, social stakes, sometimes money. He takes out his phone and opens Daniel's channel page, currently empty. You will announce your release date, he says. 2 weeks from now, 5 episodes, no more talking, only publishing. Daniel's throat goes dry. That's fast. You are already almost there, Hayashi says. You have outlines, scripts, recordings. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from almost. He looks him in the eye. Post a date. Tell your friends. Tell your followers, however many you have. Make it shameful to back out. This is where psychology gets very real. Humans are wired to avoid social pain. Public failure feels dangerous to the brain. When you make a public commitment, you harness that fear. You attach your identity to the outcome. You're also leveraging loss aversion. The pain of losing face often outweighs the discomfort of doing the work. Back at home, Daniel's hands are shaking as he opens his Instagram. He drafts a story. I've been almost launching a YouTube channel for years. So here is my point of no return. In 14 days, I'm releasing a 5-episode series on topic. It might not be perfect, but it will be finished and published. Feel free to call me out if it doesn't happen. He hovers over post. His brain screams, "Don't do it. Keep it safe. Work in secret. You can always prepare more." He posts it. Messages come in. "Let's go. Finally, bro. Bookmarking this date. If you bail, I'm sending you this screenshot every day. Fumi Kiri." The crossing has been passed. Quitting is no longer painless. Now finishing is the path of least humiliation. The turning point, the next 2 weeks, are not glamorous. They are not moments of inspiration. They are early mornings where the script feels clunky, retakes of lines that won't come out right, editing sessions where a tiny audio glitch takes an hour to fix, nights where he wants to scroll but instead chooses to cut B-roll. But now the 4 pillars are working together. Ishin. He no longer debates what to work on. 1 project. Jikan Rei. Same time, every day. Habit, not mood. Kata Kanryō. Each session ends with a small finished piece. 1 intro polished, 1 episode fully edited. Fumi Kiri. The public date is approaching. The pressure is real. On the last night before the deadline, he exports the final video of the series. For the first time in his life, the progress bar goes to 100%, and there is nothing left to tweak. He uploads the series to YouTube, schedules the first episode to go live at noon. The next day, he sits in front of his laptop as the countdown ends. 10, 9, 8. No more preparing, no more almost. The video is live. An hour later, he gets the first comment. "I really needed this. Subscribed. Please keep going." He stares at the screen, more shaken than he expected. It's not about the view count. It's not about the subscriber. It's the realization. Nothing in his life has ever reached this point before. Finished, published, out in the world. Kanryō no Michi has done its work. For the first time. Chapter 5. The Transformation. Let's jump forward, 2 years later. Daniel is sitting in the same coffee shop where he once found his childhood dream list. Only now, his laptop looks different. There's a YouTube tab open with dozens of published videos, some with thousands of views, some with a few hundred. There's a website with a small digital product he finished and launched. An email list he writes to every week. Not perfect, not viral, but real. His friends don't call him the king of almost anymore. Now they say things like, "When Daniel says he's working on something, it actually comes out. You always finish. I don't know how you do it." He smiles because he does know how. He still gets new ideas all the time. His Notion still has a long list. But now he treats ideas differently. When a new project shows up, shiny and exciting, he writes it down and then asks, "Does this belong to this season's path or the next one?" If not, it waits. He still feels the itch to start fresh sometimes. He still feels the old rush when he imagines new identities. But now, he recognizes it as what it is: addiction to beginning. And he knows how to answer it. By going back to the 4 pillars of Kanryō no Michi. The pillars of Kanryō no Michi. Summary, let's bring this back to you. Kanryō no Michi, the path of completion, has 4 pillars. 1. Ishin, the single intention, choosing 1 path instead of 10. Pick 1 main project that truly matters, not 10, not 3, 1. Declare a time window, 30, 60, or 90 days. Put other active projects to sleep. They're not gone. They're just not your path right now. Many paths, no destination. 1 path, maybe a destiny. 2. Jikan Rei, sacred time. Protecting a fixed time block only for the chosen path. Choose a fixed daily time block, even 30-60 minutes. Same time, same place, every day. No phone, no distractions, no quick checks. Treat it like training, like prayer. Non-negotiable. You're telling your brain, this is who I am now. I'm someone who shows up for this path every day. 3. Kata Kanryō. The completed form, finishing in small, clear units instead of endless work in progress. Break your project into small pieces that can be finished. One page, one outline, one edited section, one finished exercise. Every session needs its own done. This rewires your brain to associate completion with satisfaction. Not the fantasy of a finished project, but the lived reality of finishing pieces of it every day. 4. Fumikiri. The point of no return, creating commitments that make quitting more painful than finishing. Set a public deadline. Tell people. Post it. Accept pre-orders. Commit to a client. Put some money or reputation on the line. When walking away would cost you more, socially, emotionally, financially, finishing becomes the easier path. This is about you. Maybe your life right now looks like Daniel's used to. Folders of half-finished files, apps full of abandoned programs, people around you quietly lowering their expectations when you say, I'm working on something. You might think you have a discipline problem. You might think you're lazy. You might think you're not that kind of person. But maybe you don't have a discipline problem. Maybe you have a completion problem. You've trained your brain to love beginnings. You've never stayed long enough to discover the power of endings. So here's your assignment, not in theory, in practice. Your Kanryō no Michi, starting today. Choose one project, the one that matters most, the one that haunts you, not the most impressive, the most honest. Define a window, 30, 60, or 90 days. This is your season of completion. Create Jikan Rei. Pick a daily time block you can protect. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. Same time, same place. Put it in your calendar. Break it into Kata Kanryō. List small, clear units of done. Today's goal should never be work on it. It should be finish this piece. Set your fumikiri. Tell someone. Post it. Share your deadline. Make it more painful to escape than to follow through. And then, you walk. Not perfectly, you will be tempted. Some days will be messy, some sessions weak. But remember, transformation doesn't come from a perfect streak. It comes from refusing to abandon your path when the novelty fades. If this resonated with you, and you want more stories and systems about discipline, attention, and self-mastery, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and checking out the other videos on this channel. And before you go, answer this in the comments. What is one project you abandoned that still haunts you? Name it. Then decide if it will remain a ghost, or if it will be the first thing you finally bring to completion. Be present. Walk with honor. Follow the path.